Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll bring you the highlights of the news cycles. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. The Kano State Hospital's Management Board has sacked 3 staff members of Kabul General Hospital and suspended 3 others for alleged extortion. The sacking and suspension of the affected staff were approved by the Executive Secretary of the board, Dr. Mansour Nagoda, after an unscheduled visit to the facility. This is contained in a statement by the Public Relations Officer of the hospital's Management Board, Samira Suleiman. According to the statement, 3 officers of the X-ray unit were caught charging patients 12,000 naira for X-rays against the approved hospital price of 2,000 naira and no document to show as evidence of payment, leaving the facility to carry out less than 10 X-rays per week, despite the fact that the 2 X-ray batteries are functional. The Executive Secretary of the board approved the immediate dismissal of the 3 officers on grounds of extortion of patients. The Executive Secretary approved the suspension of the accountant, auditor, and head of the laboratory for selling free HIV test kits given to facilities by the state government and were asked to report to the board headquarters for further disciplinary actions. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has suspended the women's leader, Mariam Suleiman, for criticizing Governor Obasani over the huge debt inherited from the previous administration. This was as Governor Sani's spokesman, Alhaji Mohammed Shehu, said that the governor would not dignify the son of the immediate past governor, Nasir El-Rufai Bashir, with a response to his attack on the governor. The Kaduna APC, in a March 31st, 2024 notice, said the women leader was suspended for alleged gross misconduct. The suspension notice was signed by the APC chairman and secretary of the Badarawa Malali ward, Ali Meishago and Zakar Basahua, respectively. The Kaduna State governor had, during a town hall meeting, lamented the huge debt inherited from his predecessor, El-Rufai. Sani said the state was left with a lean purse and too broke to pay workers' salaries. The Kogi state government has debunked an allegation by the Social Democratic Party and that masterminded attacks on witnesses at the ongoing governorship election petition tribunal, saying the allegation was baseless. The Commissioner for Information and Communications in the state, Kingsley Fanwo, said it was, however, important to enlighten the SDP that the case at the tribunal was between parties and the state government. Fanwo, who spoke at a press conference in Lokoja, noted that if any attack did happen, as claimed by the SDP, it must have been stage-managed by the SDP to justify their failure to produce the number of witnesses they claimed to have. About 30,000 households across Sokoto State have benefited from Senator Aminu Tambo's Ramadan package. In his remarks at the flag-off of the distribution of bags of rice to PDP faithful across all the wards in the state, Senator Tambo said the distribution was to thank God for giving him the wealth and opportunity to assist the lower class. Speaking earlier in an opening remark, the state's PDP chairman, Honorable Bello Goronyo, said the gesture was aimed at revealing households of the current hardship in demonstration of the party's spirit of empathy and kindness. Some residents of Kebbi State attacked a government warehouse at Bayankara area of Benin Kebbi, the state's capital, and carted away food items. The hoodlums, who defied security operatives stationed at the warehouse, also broke into some private warehouses and shops in the area and stole food items. They also looted a broken-down truck loaded with assorted grains meant for distribution in Benin Kebbi. Attacks on warehouses had occurred at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and Suleja in Niger State. This is amidst the cost of living crisis, largely believed to have been caused by the petrol subsidy removal and the floating of the naira. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has reassured Nigerians that the service personnel are determined to eradicate terrorists, bandits, and other threats. The Army Chief added that he was determined to bring peace to the country. Nigeria, he says, is battling security challenges ranging from terrorism, banditry to kidnapping. In his Easter message, the Army Chief noted that the service has recorded a lot of successes in the ongoing operations against terrorism and banditry, among others. Lagbaja says the Nigerian Army remains committed, determined, and focused on ensuring the total defeat in insurgents, marauding bandits, and other forms of external and internal aggressions disturbing the peace of the country. Lagbaja stated that he had provided the needed training and resources for his men to tackle the insecurity ravaging the country. Troops of the Nigerian Army in separate operations conducted in Zamfara and Katsina states killed no fewer than 11 terrorists. The terrorists were killed following a raid on terrorist kingpin enclaves in the state. In Zamfara, the hideout of terrorist leader Hassan Yatangwaye in Safe local government area was raided, which resulted in a gun battle with 2 of his men killed in the operation. Weapons and military uniforms were recovered from the terrorists. The army also said several terrorists fled with gunshot injuries during the gun duel that ensued during the operation. It added that during the raid in Sambisa forest, its men killed 3 terrorists and destroyed their hideouts in the forest. The police command in Enugu State says it has raided an indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its Eastern Security Network criminal hideouts in Akukwe axis of Enugu metropolis. The police operatives, however, met with resistance from the renegades who opened fire upon sighting them, but they were subdued by the superior firepower of the police, leading to the neutralization of 2 of the renegades. The command spokesperson, DSP Daniel Undukwe, said in a statement on Sunday that the police conducted the raid on Saturday at about 2:30 a.m. He said that 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 submachine gun SMG, 1 stainless pump action gun PAG, 27 live and 23 expended rounds of 7.62mm caliber ammunition were recovered after the raid and gun duel. The Taraba State Police Command has stated that 3 children died in Didango Gaita village, Karim Lamido local government area of the state, following a suspected accidental discharge from a Dane gun. The State Commissioner of Police, David Iloyonomon, stated this while refuting claims made by some villagers who attributed the deaths to an explosion from improvised explosive devices. Iloyonomon stated that the gunpowder from the Dane gun later exploded and killed them. The CP says the 3 deceased children were playing on a tree while 4 others who sustained injuries were on the ground as they are receiving treatment at the State Specialist Hospital in Jalingo, the state's capital. The University of Ilorin has expelled and rusticated 19 students, including 6 final-year students of the institution for their alleged involvement in various offenses. The Director of Corporate Affairs of the institution, Mr. Kunle Akogun, in a statement, says the approval of expulsion rustication of the affected students by the Vice-Chancellor, Mr. Wahab Egbewole, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was sequel to the recommendations of the Students' Disciplinary Committee at its 220th and 221st meeting. He says that the affected students were penalized for offenses ranging from misconduct, theft, examination malpractice, hostel bed space racketeering, and extortion. Beating a fellow student, admission racketeering, extortion, and assault. He added that penalties for the offenses committed by the students included rustication for either 1 semester or 1 academic session, including outright expulsion. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have detained a 35-year-old lady, Chidima Chinenye Agbazue, after she was caught attempting to export 20 parcels of cannabis sativa weighing 10.70 kg to Doha, Qatar, through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos State. The illicit drugs were said to have been concealed in African salad, popularly called abacha, and dried vegetables. The operation was carried out in conjunction with operatives of the Department of State Services. The anti-narcotics operatives also reportedly rejected a 5 million naira bribe from another suspect in Lagos State. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, Nigeria spends $4 billion in textile products imports annually. This and other stories coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle. On the foreign scene, a temporary alternative route for ships is to be opened in the U.S. city of Baltimore following the collapse of a major bridge. Officials have announced 6 people died after the Francis Scott Key Bridge last Tuesday, causing shipments to be suspended in and out of one of the country's busiest ports. Meanwhile, efforts are underway to remove debris from the water. According to a statement from the Key Bridge Response, a task force set up in the wake of the incident. Port officials are preparing to open the temporary channel to the northeast side of the main channel near the collapsed bridge for commercially essential vessels. Moving on, in the world of business, Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State has blamed the inability of his administration to pay workers' salaries, the huge debt he said he inherited from the government of his predecessor, Nasir El-Rufai. Sani stated this while addressing a town hall meeting in Kaduna. The governor said his administration inherited a huge debt burden of $587 million, 85 billion naira and 115 contractual liabilities from his predecessor. He says 7 billion naira out of the 10 billion naira federal allocation for Kaduna in March was deducted to service the state's debt. Sani said the 3 billion naira which the state was left with was not enough to pay salaries, as the state's monthly salary bill stood at 5.2 billion naira. According to him, owing to the rise in exchange rates, the state is now paying back almost triple of what was borrowed by the previous administration. The federal government has adopted a virtual means of evacuation of crude oil that involves the utilization of barges and trucks for the transportation of crude from the point of production to injection, storage point for eventual transportation to export terminals. It said the alternative crude oil evacuation systems was implemented to avoid production deferment, losses, and other undesirable consequences as a result of pipeline disruption and outages. This is contained in a new presentation by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on Stability in the Nigerian Energy Sector Integrated Strategies for Infrastructure, Transportation and Security, obtained by our correspondent in Abuja. Nigeria loses trillions of naira to crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism annually, a development that made the government consider a virtual means of transporting the commodity. About 90% of textile products in Nigeria valued at over $4 billion are imported into the country annually. National Union of Textile, Garment and Tailoring Workers of Nigeria, NUTG-TWN, has stated. Immediate past president of the NUTG-TWN, John Adaji, who disclosed this at the opening session of the just concluded 13th National Delegates Conference of the Union in Abuja, called on the federal government to initiate policies aimed at reviving the moribund industry. Adaji lamented the high production cost of textile materials in the country, which he attributed to poor infrastructure and high energy costs. Meanwhile, also speaking at the conference, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Noura Rimi, expressed the desire of the government to revive the sector to its revenue-generating status. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has said that the recall of Bureau de Change Operators, BDCs, into the mainstream forex market is a major factor in the current stability being experienced with the exchange rate. This disclosure is contained in a statement released by the APCON president, Aminu Gwadabe, over the weekend, where he lauded the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso for the decision. Gwadabe said aside from monetary policy tightening that led to increase in exchange rate, more investment in government instruments and the clearance of $7 billion forex backlog forward commitment. The recall of the BDCs was also a significant move by the Apex Bank to boost dollar liquidity at the retail end of the forex market. The APCON president therefore expressed the association's gratitude to the Cardoso-led CBN and other related agencies for the recognition of BDCs as the third leg of the foreign exchange market and an effective exchange rate transmission mechanism in forex management. The Central Bank of Nigeria has said that it recorded an inflow of over $1.5 billion into the economy over the past few days, indicating that its monetary policy efforts are working positively. The bank's acting director, Corporate Communications Department, Sidi Ali, made the assertions in a statement. She noted that data available to the bank indicated that the inflow resulted from the bank's efforts to stabilize the foreign exchange market. Ali said the Naira has also continued to record gains in the autonomous foreign exchange market as it traded at 1,309 Naira per dollar as against the 1,611 Naira per dollar in the second week of March 2024. Nigeria now produces crude oil from over 246 fields across the country and operates 188 production stations, platforms. The federal government has stated data obtained in Abuja from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, an agency of the federal government, indicated that Nigeria's oil-producing fields had been on the rise since the first commercial oil discovery. Nigeria is poised to boost production and enhance energy security with over 246 producing fields, 2,777 producing strings, 188 production stations, platforms, 4 gas terminals, 5 land terminals, 11 floating storage and offloading units, 18 floating production storage and offloading, and several other facilities at various stages of development. Now let's move to the world of entertainment. Billionaire founder and CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, has been announced as the new Chief Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Officer for the Walt Disney Company. Known globally for its significant impact on the media and entertainment industry, Disney has welcomed Musk into a pivotal role that aims to further its diversity and inclusion efforts. Elon Musk, whose ventures span across various industries including aerospace with SpaceX and automotive with Tesla, shared his enthusiasm about the new role through his X social media platform, known for its vast portfolio that includes theme parks, movie studios, and a plethora of media networks. Walt Disney Company, under the leadership of Bob Iger, and with key figures like Kathleen Kennedy and the helm of its various divisions, is a leading name in global entertainment. In sports, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is determined to enjoy the closing stages of the Premier League title race for all its twists and turns in what will be his final season at Anfield. The Reds came back from conceding an early goal against Brighton to win 2-1 thanks to goals from Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah. With Manchester City and Arsenal playing out a goals draw, Liverpool are now 2 points clear at the top of the table with 9 matches left to play. Liverpool's run includes games against Manchester United, Tottenham and Aston Villa, 6th, 5th and 4th respectively. And that's it on the news cycle, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Don't forget, we're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on our social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.